Hello, everyone, and welcome back to College COD LAN Finals here with day number 1. My name is Visions. Alongside me, I now got Andy, also known as Proper, the birthday boy. How's it going, baby? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. The energy here at Belong Arenas is absolutely electric. I was sitting there, I was running around, I was trying to watch all 4 matches at the same time. Some teams are getting upset out there. Some teams are more upset as the day will go on, brother, but the matches will continue on.
Yeah, matches will certainly continue on here for us, and well, coming up, I mean, we have St. Edward's going up against the University of North America. This is a pretty pivotal one because the Dragons just came off of a massive dub, able to get themselves a pretty swift win, it felt like, and now this will be the first test for St. Edward's to see if they can try to also match that here very early on.
I was watching over Desme's shoulder, funny enough, for the majority of that matchup versus Davenport, and things were pretty competitive in the hard point, but then that second gear started to switch over, and I think that's what the Hilltoppers have to really try to bounce back from. Obviously, you don't exactly have all the downtime in the world. You got to end up getting yourself set up over there on the main station. What have you learned ever since losing in that map for Grueler versus Fisher?
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be the big question here. But we'll take a look, of course, at the hype video coming up here for the Dragons. First, we'll see exactly what the squad's looking like.
Sooner through the glass panel. Gonna be able to take down Mazo, and the flank secured by Decimace for the second kill required in the last
especially
one.
with the head glitches that Slapex and Co did have inside old. So, last 10-15 seconds going the way of the Dragons. Maybe the rotation will go well as well. Zuna on the transition from Noob will be picking up 2 kills.
Absolutely love the hype videos that we have going on here. Players, of course, throwing up all kinds of signs, showing a lot of love. And man, this roster overall, Estimates coming in with Aaron, Lucho, as well as Zuner. This squad putting up a big dub earlier on, like we said here. And now we'll see if they can try to keep it rolling.
Vamos! Got yourself some Latin American pride coming through here for the University of North America. The Dragons representing their region proudly. This is a team that throughout the regular season only had 1 loss, and that was a forfeit loss that they had to get to Mars Hill. Otherwise, things have been pretty good for the Dragons leading up to this point in time.
Certainly has been, but have to, of course, take a look at everything that's been coming together here for them so far. And, well, these guys have been pretty solid, right? A great regular season coming in here for us. They play in the Southeast region, and it felt like they handled everything pretty well.
Yeah, I love how it just says losses non-applicable. I mean, like, all of these wins, when you think about it, the region that they were playing in, I will go ahead and I will be honest, it was a pretty soft region. I mean, as far as everything is concerned, Mars Hill, JMU, those were your biggest contestants when it came down to the Dragons in their paved way to be able to make it all the way through playoffs. That regular season, again, that 1 loss was the stain from a forfeit loss. But, I mean, overall, the Dragons are absolutely a force to be reckoned with. A lot of time spent with one another, to keep in mind, you.
Yes, that's exactly it, right? A lot of chemistry, a lot of synergy. That was something you were talking about coming into this tournament. So, looks like it's paying off so far. Will it continue? But, of course, as we introduce one, have to introduce the other. Time now to take a look at St. Edward's.
Finally, he will fall. Eon's that player was, by the way, and Reality now in a 1 versus 3. Awkward situation here to be on 5 in a row. You'd think he tried to present the thing. He goes straight for the diffuser. He somehow gets that kill as well, and he's got the hell out of George. How has he just done this? Not enough time to defuse. There is still time to be fair to Reality. He's surely just going to check it in time. The 1 versus 3.
Man, this team is fun, right? Picking up the trash can, I think that's Reality, throwing it on up there, man. He's showing just a lot of love, having a lot of fun. A couple crazy ones also thrown into the mix, but this region, of course, coming out of the West, having to qualify in.
Yep, and look, when it comes down to the St. Edwards, you take a look at their regular season, even through playoffs as well, and the losses speak for themselves, right? I mean, those are 2 teams, in particular, those 2 losses versus Oklahoma Christian. We know that they're a very good team, barring what unfortunately happened in our first matchup, but the Aggies were also a force to be reckoned with when it came down to online. Top 6 placement when it came down to their region overall. Playoffs, they lost to Oklahoma Christian in winners finals and in grand finals as well. But when they had to go the distance, even in all their Map 5 Gruelers, this team definitely showed up to make it here at LAN.
Unbelievable stuff from these guys, having to make the run that they have. And, well, these guys also getting closer and closer with one another. Eons, Thresh, Vanity, and Reality. These 4, man, it feels like when they get into some of those Map 5 Gruelers that you were just alluding to there, Andy, they get the job done. This team looking very, very good.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Thresh, right? I mean, like, it feels like it doesn't matter, like, the stage of competition. It could be challengers. It could be here in the CCL. Mo always seems to find himself in game 5s. I mean, you have Eons as far as a running mate is concerned. Those are your usual suspects, if you will, for St. Edwards to pop off. And I actually got a great conversation with Relk, actually the coach here for the Hilltoppers. In Vanity, yeah, he doesn't drop the sexiest KD ratios, but you got to see in that little hype video, that guy brings the vibes into half. In reality, it's just that good mainstay, that AR, SMG flex that you can always rely on for St. Edwards to be able to get as many wins as they found.
Certainly the case. You take a look at the team head-to-head coming on in. Season record, 16-1 right now for the Dragons. We talked about the fact that maybe the region was a little bit softer than some of the others that we do have for the CCL season, but nonetheless, only dropping one on the other side. St. Edwards tested for sure throughout a lot of their games and will drop about 6 of those series, but still coming up with at least a decent win-loss, especially when you start to look at some of their respawns.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's just going to be about everything when it comes down to it, right? I mean, you look at the search, destroy, and control record as far as regular season is concerned for the Dragons. I mean, it's very easy to say that Search and Destroy and Control are their weakest game modes because it's the only one that they have losses in. But when it comes down to it here on LAN, it's a different belly of the beast. You got to be able to show up and remain consistent. And that's something that St. Edwards definitely have, unfortunately, faltered to. You know, watching over their shoulders when they were playing up against Fisher. Close in the first set of hard points when it came down to the Hydro. Same thing for the Embassy. But then they kind of lost their focus, I would say. Maybe ran out of gas in the tank. But their Search and Destroy and Control, that might just be where the series will be decided.
Yeah. Absolutely a solid point here for us. We'll take a look at the map set and see exactly what we have coming up for our second set of the day. And how about it? We're going to be jumping right back into Hydro Hardpoint. We will take a look at Hotel for our first time for Search and Destroy. We'll see an El Asilo Control, and if need be, we'll get to a Mixi Mercado Hardpoint. And to finish things off, well, where the Hilltoppers have found themselves in a lot of time so far, especially during the qualifier, Embassy Search and Destroy for map 5.
Kind of curious, but also not at the same time, that the El Asilo Search and Destroy was open, and the Hilltoppers didn't pick it. And the only reason why I say this is because I had a really funny conversation with them last night at the hotel, and I was like, you guys still trying to force El Asilo? And everybody besides Thresh was just like, oh no. It's literally just Thresh that really enjoys to play Search and Destroy and Control and El Asilo, so I'm excited to see that map number 3. I think the Hydra will be quite telling as well. Again, 3 AR setups when it comes down to it, opening up the floodgates to be able to get your SMG inside of these active hardpoints. It's all about pace. It's all about consistency as well. This was the same map 1 that St. Edwards actually played versus Fisher. And again, in that first set, everything was really close. Eons was keeping pace with everybody. There was a lot of open opportunities. Those lanes were very open. But then they kind of, again, fell flat as Rex just ended up leading that much closer to his monitor and absolutely let them have it. I think that's something you got to be worried about when you do have players like Lucho on the opposite side. So that map number 1 is going to be a really good feel to be able to see how the SMGs and the AR flexes do stack up against each other.
Yeah, no, I like that point. I mean, Eons, I think, was someone who was very, very special during the qualifier. Like, how many pop-off moments did we get on maps like Fortress where he can get loose, get electric with that sub? It can be difficult to shut that man down when he gets off to just a very hot start at some of these hard points. So that's what you're going to be looking for. Maybe more difficult to do in a Hydro, but to be fair, we were seeing some of the subs in the last series take over Hydro, so who knows what we're really in for. Of course, now a look in at the Dragons, trying to see if they can piece together another big dub. I mean, if they can secure this one here, Andy, this puts them in a great spot to come out as that top 2 in this group and potentially make sure they're starting in that winner's bracket.
Yeah, again, I mean, when you look at it here in Group B, as far as this team is concerned, right? I mean, University of North America, say what you will, it was a little bit of a warm-up versus Davenport. This is going to be the real test to be able to see how these 4 players do stack up against another roster. Again, the only roster that we have returning here at CCL LAN is these guys right here, the St. Edwards Hilltoppers. This is the same 4-player roster that we actually got last year on LAN. High fives about, the vibes absolutely high. Eons, Thresh, Vanity, Reality. Definitely looking for a bounce back as they had to go up against the number 1 seed in their group.
We'll see what they're going to be able to do here. This team looking for a massive, massive dub to make sure they're off to a good start for day number 1. A lot can shake up quickly in these groups. We've already seen that last series. Taken very easily from Northwood. We'll see what's in store for us here. Again, kicking it off. Hydro Hardpoint. You already mentioned some of the players that you are looking out for here. The ARs have a chance to dominate. I am ready to get ourselves into some Hydroing.
Get your flippies on. Got to get some water routes going. What things gonna look like, who's starting on each side individually. St. Edwards will be starting off over by P3. The Dragons will have the benefit, of course, starting on the east side of the map, and you gotta make sure you got your pistol classes set up as well. So important when it comes down to these opening battles underneath the water.
The case here for us, Eons, we already touched on him. Can he get off to a good start? Shots come through, able to put together 2, make it 3! That's a hell of a way to entry right into Hydro, and he may not be done. He's pushed all the way up into P2. He's in a good position to catch another off guard, but that is a great read. That will be able to at least get one. And now a chance to see if they can put some pressure on P1.
Good discipline actually being exemplified there by Zuner. Again, he was holding the middle lane through that double archway, just making sure that nobody was able to cut all the way through, obviously barring some David Eon's tactics as a 4-0 start. But the returning gunfights, that much better for the Dragons. 15 seconds are all the Hilltoppers are going to have, but so far the Dragons are holding the line through the middle of the map.
Zuner, oh, he was up to 4. That's a key shutdown from Reality. Make sure there's just no early play of streaks coming on in. Last couple seconds of the hill will end up going over to St. Edwards, but we'll see exactly what can happen here now for as far as the push through the back. Now the Ruins fight taking place. Thresh with a great opener, and that may have just opened the floodgates to see if they can push through. It's a 3-man stack, all rushing through, but they still need to find some more. One player also going to spawn out. Can they find the break, and can they get to the back?
Yeah, that's what it mostly comes down to. Nades, everything just being held over on the backside of Dome. It's just so oppressive when you're just trying to sprint back in and try to win these gunfights as quickly as possible. And I mean, you can't really fault the Hilltoppers. Definitely thought the gunfights that they found and the positioning on the map would force everybody to spawn out, but that is not the case. It is a successful P2 here for Dragons as far as the first set is concerned.
Eons, I'll tell you. Pistol in hand, ready for the secondary chow. Aaron, though, going to give it a good look, and Thresh is a little bit low, maybe just not fully ready for that engagement, so a couple more kills will come through. Reality's going to be the only one across the map right now, so he has got so much work to do, and well, he just gets blown away off the top rope, so that will be a great pickup kill. A little bit of a late rotation coming on through, but still a very close game as you rotate to new.
So much to do if you are Reality in that situation, obviously losing his life, and then the middle of the map gets open as Aaron will find 2. 5 and 5 now. Utility to play with. Thresh needs to get the trade. He'll double down. Nobody for the Dragons was anchoring over by the rocks, and now St. Edwards are spawning in.
That's a great shout. So there's a huge opportunity to come up with 35 seconds here. Good kill comes in for Eons, trying to control the top, but Zuner will deal with him quite easily. What can you do from the side is now the big question. Long route around the back, trying to come up and surprise them, and well, not going to check his left right away, but will find Eons. There's a snap, but not good enough for the kill. Thresh will drop to his tummy, come up with a kill, but still a lot of this going neutral. Still a chance to contest, maybe 15 seconds left.
Lucho up top, I mean, how important is that position? Well, Sooner to end up working his way back in. Forces a team kill, doesn't matter. Thresh will still be on 3 in a row. 8 and 6 now for Mo. The scrap time will be conceded. And again, this game just remains about at a dead even tie. But now we move our way over towards P4, an integral money hill. You gotta be careful here if you are Decimace. He's pushed all the way into the front of P5. I don't blame you for not checking that corner. Reality, what are you doing over here, Decimace? 3 players still locked inside the hard point here for the Dragons.
And they get to the back. Water route being taken from Eons. AR in hand. Doesn't like the look. Wants to try to reposition and maybe come around the back here. Meanwhile, Vanity able to get through, but won't be able to find that gunfight. Joe holding on quite well, and now Eons is also red, so that is a lot of time spent to try to get on through, and all this time has gone over to the Dragons. It's being collected, and they're still trying to work for the back spawns.
I mean, Decimace is still playing inside of Jenny's. And what that forces for St. Edwards, you're essentially spawning inside of P3 continuously. That really the only route that you can hit is through P1. Decimace is still streaking out here, by the way. He's currently at a combined 9 spree alongside of his teammates. Lucho on 4, double positive, 12 and 6, just trying to hold down the rest of this time. And the Dragons will find a more successful hardpoint over by P4. And now Decimace positioning, it becomes that much more potent. Is not blocking the spawns towards the back, but an opportunity for Dragons to turn scrap it to initial.
Oh my, Decimace, I mean, he's been alive for like the last minute. He is still alive. He's up to 5 in a row. 1 off of the streak. You have to find a way to not only shut him down, but also break into the hard point. Vanity might be the guy to do it, but Decimace knows exactly where he is. Kill number 6 secured. Tries to turn. Won't be able to find it. And Eons does step a foot into the hard point, but will he be able to hold? No, he cannot. The pressure way too much right now from the Dragons.
I mean, just look at the pace as far as differential. The scoreboard is just telling you the entire story so far. Reality's last alive. What can you do from the little pond? Absolutely nothing. Shut down. What a turn of events from the Dragons here in the first set of hardpoints from P4 to P5, albeit very unorthodox from Decimace positioning. He goes on a Herculean spree. He holds everything from over by P5, and his teammates were anchoring down the back over by P4. I have never seen a sequence like that on Hydro where you go from 4 to 5 that flawlessly. About over 110-point lead is what the Dragons have with streaks in their back pocket.
This is looking like a similar story right now, Andy, from what we saw in the previous series. Not a good look for St. Edwards, still struggling to work back into this game. But if they could try to find themselves a flip, Maybe that's their avenue back in. We'll have to see. Right now, P1 time being collected from Zuner. He's also up to 4. He's 18-5 as well. Just to kind of casually throw that out there with a minute in the hill. Will be dealt with. Spree will come to an end, and maybe this is the moment they need. Eon's back in that same position here in L to see if he can try to push through.
Oh, another flank. Desmaze has that cruise missile already. Just finds the timing. Doesn't even need that silence. Desmaze is just going unnoticed. Is just making sure everybody is reeling inside the hard point. And St. Edwards, to be fair, off of that previous push from Eons, they pushed through Dome, they flipped out the spawns. The biggest problem is you're still trailing by a massive threshold.
It feels like St. Edwards have never really been in a position where they've been able to actually lock down an initial hill here. So there's an opportunity to do it if they can deal with Aaron. They have lost track of him. Vanity in the back turns at the worst possible time. Hill now pops open, and Thresh does win that battle. If he loses that, all of a sudden, it might just go from bad to worse, but there is a moment here for St. Edwards to really lock in some time on P2.
Where were you going, Eons? There's no reason whatsoever for you to be traveling inside of P3 like that. Now you essentially have to hope that you spawn in, and luckily enough, Eons does. So now a lot of this defense is relying on Eons to shut down the flank, is able to find one, can't find the second on a Zuner, but the damage has been done. There's a little bit of an opportunity. Again, Desmaze in the water, Thresh is locking things down. A much better look here for St. Edwards. Finally, will be over 100 points.
Man, Thresh is doing it all at the moment. He's now up to 5. Aaron will shut him down, but the trades are there from Vanity. Now spawns in the back. This is a decent moment for St. Edwards if they can continue to at least contest a bit of this time. Vanity is stunned up, doesn't get a good look at the gunfight, but it is just scrap time that will be secured. It will get the Dragons over that 200-point mark here, Andy, but there is still a chance maybe to lock it down at this next hill.
Oh, look at the spawns. I mean, you got players for St. Edwards that were essentially thinking that maybe they're blocking the spawns over by P3. These kills are just about everything Eons. He is not alone over here, but it is not your teammates. Player number 7 of Aaron. He already pushed through Jenny's. He's got the spawns for new. The Dragons remain in control. Just 40 more points required.
Oh, man, you have to do something quickly from the back right now. Reality in a gunfight with Lucho, who's just going to run at him. Doesn't want to give him any time, and well, with the pistol, he just makes it look easy. Now you can turn all of your attention to the front of the hard point. Shots coming through for Aaron. Won't finish off the first, but will at least get some damage in. Ready to take the chow now. He finishes off quite nicely for the first one. 228 now to 109. This is 25 seconds. You have to contest.
Gotta get in. You gotta stay in at that. You just need 20 more seconds. If you're the Dragons and Aaron is just spinning circles around them. Eon's Vanity, they're at least able to find 2. The hard point might be able to go neutral, but that's leader's advantage in a nutshell. The Dragons don't necessarily care about the scrap time, Austin. They could just play for new.
15 seconds for the dub. St. Edwards just a little bit slow to start here. Vanity, Reality, both struggling to get it going. Saw some good moments from Eons. But now you have to call for a quick break. Dragons looking good for the dub. Final attempt. Try to get in. St. Edwards through the back. Nesbitt's there for 1. There for the second. Won't finish it off, but they have to try to get a toe into the point. And well, Aaron's able to shrug them off, and that might be enough. The spawns in the back don't come in fast enough. And the Dragons grab map number 1 on Hydro.
I mean, again, it felt like it was hyper competitive. What, through the first 2-3 hard points? And then we got to P4, and then the Dragons just got a full 60. And then we go over to P5, where Desmaze was there since yesterday. They're able to turn scrap into initial. It's not even just the slightest bit of outpacing is what concerns me here for the Hilltoppers. It's the simple fact of the fundamentals that the Dragons are just exemplifying here as far as a Hydra hardpoint map number 1 is concerned. It always felt like every AR's positioning mattered more for an SMG to be in one of those ratty corners, one of those more annoying positions to where you're not going to necessarily check it, because if you're the Hilltoppers, you're laser focused on just trying to cut through the map and try to get through the break. If you're spawning over by P3, you just want to get over towards P4. That is where Desmaze did his best work. It's because everybody was focused on what was potentially going to be a 4v4 for the break. Desmaze just cut down at least 2 players. He was good for at least 3 on that rotation from 4 to 5. And they had never lost control across that south lane. It has nothing to do with the pace. It has nothing to do with the gun skill. The map positioning, the understanding of where to be at the right time for the Dragons was that much more superior than what the Hilltoppers had to offer.
Absolutely the case. Map number 1 good. St. Edwards, chance to reset coming into the second one here, but just struggling to get all their members going, right? I mean, again, I hate coming back to it, but a lot of what we saw through that first set was exactly what we got here through the Hydro on this second set as well between these 2 squads. So really tough to get it going. And I mean, you even have like Eons, like you're thinking like, oh, the 3-piece comes through. St. Edwards about to create a bit of a snowball effect, start to get the push through, but spawns were a massive problem. Even when they had some of those rotations, we saw it there at P2, right? Like quickly broken. Someone's able to get through. It feels like that was a constant problem here for them. They struggled with it. And well, that what was it, P4 to P5.
Yeah.
Desmond was just sitting
Outrageous.
there P5 for like a minute, builds up a streak, gets himself everything he needs to. Like, that really was like the nail in the coffin right there.
It was even like, to candidly speak, even beyond that too. When you have that many players for St. Edwards and they're spawning in P3 continuously, it just felt like they were never asking the question, why are we spawning here? Why are we not spawning inside of P5? The simple reason being is because the South Lane was just always in control of the Dragons, and the highlights are that much more abundantly clear that St. Edwards just never had their feeding underneath them, or I guess their hooves as it may be, considering that they're Hilltoppers, but nonetheless, it's just one of those things that you just felt like that the Dragons, they had a superior understanding of the map, they knew where to be, they were controlling all of these lanes, anchoring out the spawns for these money hills, and St. Edwards just never could find the sufficient amount of kills to get the break required. I mean, 23 and 11 for Zuner, 25 and 15 for Lucho. Both of them had 17 NTK, with just about 3k damage, Lucho leading the entirety of the lobby at about 3,200. And you look at the work as far as it's shared for Hilltime. The Dragons always understood who needed to bump at a certain point in time,
Yes.
but Desmaze was the problem. That 6-3, 15 to 21 eliminations not traded. He also, 9 of those 21 kills came within the objective. You felt like some of those were honestly inflated from the P5, but he also got a minute and 22 worth of OBJ time. It's just absurd just how fundamentally sound this Dragons team truly is.
Yeah. The deaths really do tell a story. I mean, everyone's going double positive outside of Aaron, and Aaron certainly had a lot of great moments himself there. So, have to really shake that one off. Forget about it if you're St. Edwards and start to think about what's going to take place in this search and destroy. It'll take place on Hotel, and well, I will say the interesting thing, at least about St. Edwards when it comes to search and destroy, Andy, is maybe they don't have the sexiest overall record. No. This was something that got them to the CCL LAN. You go back to that qualifier. In their group stage, both of their games go map 5. They get to their final qualification match to see who will actually make it to LAN, and again, they get the job done in map 5. These guys just happen to have more ice than the Great White North, apparently. Well, if you go really north, there's a lot of ice, and these guys tend to bring it, but can they transfer that online performance here to LAN and search?
The biggest issue for me when it comes down to the Hilltoppers that a lot of that ice is showcased in that map number 5. What's the avenue look like for the Hilltoppers to get to that map number 5? You feel like it has to start with this map number 2. You got blown out of the water in the hard point. This is going to be crazy for me to say of just what the Hilltoppers look like through the regular season, through playoffs. You almost feel like that they got a 2-3-5, this poor team of the Dragons. It's really the only way, realistically. I mean,
Sure.
Map number 2, albeit on Embassy, the Hilltoppers were able to win it over Fisher 6-4. Now, Parker, as happy-go-lucky as he is, told me that Fisher were just practicing maps so they don't necessarily play a whole lot together, but whatever that may be, whatever it means, honestly, St. Edwards were able to take the search and destroy off of a team like Fisher with a world champion on it, with Dylan Rex on it. So I think that really does say something of what might be suggested for the Hilltoppers when it comes into this map number 2. Now, I love contradicting myself. You know I do. When we talk about the synergy that is the Dragons, it's the search and destroy that always gets me. It's their teamwork, it's the blind trust, the faith, the rollouts, the strategies. Everything was so abundantly clear when I was watching that map number 2 versus Davenport. But for St. Edwards, in between then and now, you just feel like you got to have it. You got to showcase some sort of pushback in any one of these maps. But for me, it has to start here in the search.
Heard it here first. Has to start in the search and destroy. Check it into Hotel for map number 2. St. Edwards maybe a little bit taken back after their map 1 performance, but different game mode, different tempo, chance to really shake it on up. Try to stay competitive early through this best of 5 series. We'll see what they're going to be able to do. That chemistry, though, that synergy you talk about, could be great for the Dragons to run away with it. Let's see what we get. Round number 1, kicking it off on Hotel.
Offense first here for the Dragons, and it's a pretty normal split when you think about it. So you're just going to throw utility across the A-bomb site. You're going to rely on Aaron to maybe try to cause some ruckus. He's already passed through the H.
Great kill comes in here for Aaron to try to match it up. 3 versus 3 we're going to go, but Thresh able to see him just right below the staircase there. Wasn't fully concealed. Aaron will be traded out. Now this bomb has an opportunity to maybe get plenty here. I mean, Vandy's going to see him. Zuner is not fully behind that block to try to stretch the plan, and well, Eons is also able to take him out. So, last one up. Desmond is trying to see if he can try to get through a 1 versus 3. Doesn't even get a look at the first. Clean round for St. Edwards.
I mean, Thresh had to have seen like all of what? Like half a pixel? Laying prone behind a staircase. I can't tell you how many gunfights I've lost in that position that Thresh was just in, but Mo plays a lot of Call of Duty, let me tell you. This is a really good first blood, right? I mean, you find first blood if you're St. Edwards, that's through the middle of the map, and by proxy, you would probably recognize if the defender over at B doesn't see anything, which was Thresh, he's not getting pushed over inside a restaurant, there's going to be a flank that's going to come through the atrium. He snaps for that, going to deny at least the numbers advantage that the Dragons were looking for, then they just fully collapse off of Vanity with that bottom bedroom peak. So, we'll have to see what the adaptations might look like. St. Edwards, as far as an offense, they wanted fast towards A.
Yeah, they're going to run right in. Thresh does tag Eon's there with the trophy, and oh, how about that shot? Lucho over the top, able to find one. Might get a look at the second. Oh, Eon's gonna drop right away. Couple of snappers early for Lucho.
Oh, God, it's over. Ew, goodness. Well, that's a wrench in the system. Round number 1, I suppose. Lucho very happy with his work, very pleased, I would say, and I honestly would not blame him. I mean, that first shot was gross over top of the Godheady. If you don't know that centering and you're sniping on hotel top lights, well, you better recognize Lucho just gave you that one for free. But the snap on Eons, who just about did everything he possibly could to be able to get the better of it, was not prepared for the drag shot of Lucho's right stick. Goodness me. Even up, defense for defense. Again, the adaptations for the Dragons going to immediately take their focus to the middle of the map over towards A.
Kind of selfishly hoping Lucho would keep that scope out.
Same.
Probably see a little more of it. Little spam shots coming through down low. Aaron will drop first blood, and well, Vanity gonna put the knife right in Aaron's back as he just continues to run forward. That's twice now we've seen Aaron be able to get himself one, but maybe bites off a little bit more than he could chew. Eons wants to make a play. A little bit dangerous here. Zuner, I believe, may have saw him, but doesn't matter. Eons gets it cleanly and will lock himself out.
Time. Gotta be worried about the time. 3v2, this post plant, again, is mostly around checking. Around the back as well. I mean, you gotta check the bomb, and just as soon as you do, if you're Decimates, you get absolutely destroyed by Eons. Vanity looking to hop this 1v1, 16 seconds, was really banking on at least some assistance to come through, and it sure will. I mean, honestly, I'd feel comfortable sticking any bomb if I had Thresh standing over top of me with that AR, knowing damn well where the clutch spot was going to have to come through. And that was just great dissection at the end of it. I mean, Aaron, like you said, he was good for that one. Then with that silence, you just feel like you need to continuously move. He was top bed. I feel like you could just hold that position, but he drops in the elevator and then just gets quite literally sliced to the smithereens. That just completely foils any sort of clutch spot top bedroom that most of your post plant was coming around the backside of check-in. And, well, you got to see what Eons looks like, especially ripping dead silence. Finds 2, opens up the space for the inevitable retake to come all the way through. 1-round lead for the Hilltoppers.
Now they're going to switch it up just a tad bit. Not going to put a new one behind A initially. Bit of a 3-man stack through the restaurant. Bomb is not committed to B, but they're going to certainly make some noise at some point or another, and Vanity's going to use the dead silence. That should be the go button. Desmace has to back up. Does get away from the Semtex as utility being thrown out left and right from St. Edwards, but there is still a lot of control right now inside of Kitchen as long as Desmace is able to play his life, but we'll see what Vanity can do. Semtex going to come in, but he's still not going to get tagged with it.
Vanity thinks that nobody's in there now. He thinks that it's completely vacated, and they think that they caused more than enough ruckus to trust that Eons is going to make this push happen back over towards A, but there's still 2 players here for the Dragons.
Aaron, a lot of shoulders being thrown out. Thresh doesn't get hit by that nade. Now Aaron just kind of over the top, trying to keep them off of the bomb. Eon's going to stick forward, but Eons doesn't get tagged. A lot of this utility still not going to hit, and they are not going to know that this bomb is going down. Should be a free plant. Zuner might have a chance to poke his head out. Doesn't want to. 4v4 retake now in effect.
You feel like a lot of this is going to come down to Decimates. You can see him just fishing with it, with the idea. Again, time is not on your side for the retake. Needs to start going. Zuner for the first.
Vanity able to find the kill on the other side of the map. Now a lot of pressure on Thresh for the front. Will be dealt with. Trades coming through. Reality can't piece together the second. All down to Vanity.
Oh, it's on
bomb being defused. Lucho halfway through on it. Vanity's going to have to fly. Going to have to go. Kill. No, kill does not come through. The support is there. And Zuner able to protect his teammate as the defuse comes through.
And that's just such a tough post-plant scenario to find yourself in if you are the Hilltoppers. I mean, Eons, the second he gets all the information from bottom bedroom, the Semtex comes through. And now he's forced to not go for the stretch plant, which is going to be the clutch spot over by the fountain or over by check-in.
Right.
So now you have to play for the opposite side, but Vanity's previous position was shutting down the flank. He found that kill on a Decimates, but then he's got a Vaznev as well. But he just has to fully sprint, not knowing what was on the other side for him in that 1v2. So close to being able to get that kill, though I reckon the trade would have been that much quicker. Even Stevens in around number 5.
Yeah, back and forth there. Very fun search so far. Zuner Oh, he's going to make contact with Vanity. Oh my, Vanity doesn't even shoot back. And look at this right up the middle. As May's also able to punish Eons, and Zuner just keeps on going. He's up to 5, looking for number 6. Aaron, I believe, is the one that finishes it off. And the Dragons, they just run at them and just completely smoke them here in round 5.
Well, talk about breaking a mold. I suppose we needed an offensive round to come through eventually, and it's by way of just some pretty nice trainers and sprinting through the atrium. Who would have thought? Certainly not me. I mean, Aaron, it's just Aaron, right? I mean, like, what else do you honestly want to say? I mean, like, you got 2 players ripping dead silence, just fully sprinting at you. It's just tough, especially if you're never really expecting it. I'm more or less just concerned why Vanity didn't even shoot back in the initial 1v1.
Right?
You find that one kill, you essentially stop Zuner dead in his tracks. Aaron for the follow-up. Now Zuner up on a 5 spree. Dragons take that 1-round lead.
Aaron does steal away that last killing couches, so that could have been cruise missile secured. Not the case just yet. Oh, Desmond, I mean, you feel it. He's got to be dead here, right? Oh, gets a good look at Vanity. Gets him down to about half HP. Vanity wants to keep it going, but does get caught as he's checking his corner. Zuner with a freebie. And that will be kill number 6. Streak now earned as we go into the 3 versus 3.
It's the same exact offensive rollout for the Hilltoppers. The difference is they were able to find that first blood inside a restaurant. This time, though, the Dragons have committed at least one player to come back through and at least watch that atrium cross, unbeknownst to them. Well, maybe not anymore. Eons does get a couple warning shots out from Aaron. Will dive across, bomb planted in the same exact spot.
Eons does pull off of it for a moment, but doesn't feel like anyone's else in a position to threaten. Zuner going to call in the streak very early in this search and destroy. A lot of information going to be gifted, but it is Eons that actually ends up dropping. So 3 versus 2. St. Edwards trying to make something happen here with the man disadvantage, and now it's all down to 1. In reality, well, they know exactly where he is, and it feels like that one's a little bit too easy as the streak investment works out.
And Zuner just continues onwards with this trend on a 7 spree. I mean, that's just tough, right? I know that a lot of people are probably sitting there like, oh, he got the score streak. You should be able to at least get the kill with that. It's like, no, the information for the Dragons, I promise you, is just as good. To be able to recognize where Eons went in the post plant after laying the rock down here at A. You knew you had a 2v1 off of Eons being cut down, and then, again, the rewrap coming through. After Zuner calls in the streak, he gets the freest flank this side of the Mississippi. He just rips that silence, and he just comes behind the last player, which I believe was Reality in that regard, who was just trying to sprint himself into that position to at least play in the post plant. But when numbers are not on your side here on Hotel, you can only keep your head on a swivel for so long until you either get flanked or you get gunned at range. The Dragons doing just about everything they possibly can to look damn near perfect here on Hotel.
A few rounds in a row now for them, too. So starting to really figure it out, putting it together, coming in with a bit of speed here for their next offensive play. And, oh, the nade's great. Eon's out of the equation at the start of the round. Vanity feels pressured and wants to keep them off the site. And, well, that nade's also going to shrug him back, so that should secure the bomb plant. And that will be the case. 4v3 now, a big retake in effect for St. Edwards.
I was wondering where Lucho was going to go off of that. He hangs out inside a cat room, and he just doubles all the way back to make sure that the flank is at least secured. Thresh is on the opposite side, nowhere near dead silence. 3v4, 30 seconds.
Thresh needs to find this kill, and all that setup is just so clean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watching crossfires, you're only ever going to get one, if that. Aaron laying down on his belly. Easy pickup. Well, there is nowhere to go. Might find the kill, but there was no time left to get 3 players and a defuse. That is as easy as it comes. The Dragons now starting to put it together. They are just flying through this search and destroy. Another great successful round.
And they never offered the same thing twice. That post plant was disgustingly great. It's so you got a player back spot, you got a player playing here at the Godhead. He was over in the plant, just knowing that the flank was at least needing to be secured. But I mean, Lucho just pushes all the way through restaurant, and normally you see players try to go for the full wrap all the way to the backside of the lot or come back through the atrium. Lucho just uses dead silence, and then he just doubles back to at least guarantee the flank that could potentially come through the back hole. The Dragons are just absolutely playing with their food right now. Zuner is up to 9 in a row.
Make it 10 in a row. Double digits in search and destroy. Are you kidding me? And just like that, St. Edwards down to 2 members in the first 15 seconds of round 8. Eons will get through and has the bomb, so he has a chance to end the spree of Zuner and will. A lot of the players now actually kind of caught out in no man's land, so they're going to flip the map on its head. A big opportunity to try to come out with this 2 versus 4. There's still plenty of time to play with.
It's all going to have to be individualistic, though. They think that this wrap is actually coming through all the way back over towards B. Eon's caught mid-reload, needs to find the kill. He's favoring his life. That's the smart play. But reality is still top bedroom. He needs to double back and try to help out his teammate, as Eons has to plant the bomb at B.
I think Lucho might have caught timing on this cross. He's going to fly out in with Daddy, and yeah, what a pickup that is. And now the bomb is down on the site. They know exactly where Reality is. He's got an AR. This is not going to be an easy 1v2, but it is a required 1v2. Breaking in the doors. Has to find a way to shut down Lucho, and while Lucho with the shots are good enough for the last kill, the Dragons combined for what was 5 rounds in a row. They'll take the dub, and they'll lead the series 2-0.
I mean, that is just about as crispy clean as you could possibly ask for the Dragons there at the, what, 4 or 5 rounds in a row? I mean, the first round was that they definitely had to work for it, but then soon after that, it was just an absolute collapse. St. Edwards just had no answer when it came down to the Dragons having the information, fully sprinting at them, winning the gunfights outright. Even as far as strategies are concerned, it feels like the playbook ain't that deep for St. Edwards right now. They kept on trying to throw the same fast offense over towards A, the same bait play, get 2 players close to B, and then trust that at least it was enough information and then double back over towards A. This Dragons roster won't budge, man. I mean, even off the little bit of information they're able to get, they have so much trust in each other, and they have so much trust in themselves that they legitimately just know that they're going to make the right play. They commit to it, Austin, and it works out so well.
Does it ever? And oh man, flying through some of these series right now, and St. Edwards, I mean, some of those rounds were like done in the first 15 seconds, maybe,
Yeah.
right? Like the first kill comes through.
Like I was on Mercado
no
for a little
trade.
bit.
The second one follows pretty easily. Never really felt like they got off the ground. So right now, St. Edwards now need to piece together a heck of a next map in order to stay alive here. But it's a similar story, man. Have to now find the next 3 in a row to find a dub over the Dragons. The Dragons, they're playing some lights out COD.
I already said that I feel like when it comes down to the Hilltoppers, probably your best bet to take down the Dragons would be 2-3-5 them. Well, now you got to reverse sweep them, and you know, look, I'm not going to say that Thresh hasn't been here before versus a lot of different teams, but
Sure.
It's a different belly of the beast when we're talking about the Hilltoppers versus the Dragons, and I'm almost getting exhausted of telling the same exact story of just like how we always need to be able to find some help from Thresh. I mean, Mo can't do everything by himself, and we gotten some really good looks from Eons, but I mean, man, Vanity and Reality, you really got to feel for them in a lot of these different situations, because when you're St. Edwards and you go all in for your opening of a play for Eons to be able to hit a route and maybe try to go 2 for 1 or maybe even 1 for 1, or Thresh to also pop that silence and try to exact the flank, you find yourself in situations like this where Vanity and Reality, who were tasked just to play top and bottom bed together, are just caught on the open. They have no map positioning soon after it, and the Dragons just absolutely gobbled it up.
Boy, oh boy. Dooner also goes on a casual 10 spree there during the search and destroy, so that is something to consider going forward as he just starts off 0-2 and just proceeds to find 10 kills. Ridiculous stuff from him. The whole team, though, stepping up in a very large way. And after those first couple rounds that were secured, St. Edwards just never able to get themselves back into the game. Lucho also almost goes 8 for 8 for non-traded kills. Only gets traded once through that full 8 rounds. But incredible stuff coming on in, and you take a look at the other side, and no one really able to step up whatsoever. Thresh deals a lot of damage, but can only really put up 3 kills. We mentioned that we can't just rely on Thresh to get St. Edwards over the top, but no one else able to step up either here.
No, there really wasn't that much help, was there? I mean, even as far as the assist column is concerned, I mean, not a whole lot of team shots to speak of. Reality had the most work on the map for St. Edwards, and that was just because he was the island player more often than not over inside a kitchen defensively. Also the player that was left behind when the bomb rotated back over towards A. But it's just the Dragons, man. I mean, you have 2 players that are around 1,000 plus damage. Lucho was just letting them absolutely have it continuously. It just felt like that the map positioning was never lost soon after, even when they were in a numbers disadvantage. Their 3v4 retakes, their 2v3 retakes were always so good. Again, because of the teamwork, the chemistry of this team is at an all-time high.
Well, 2-0 up right now as the Dragons are looking good for what could be another 3-0 to kick off our second series of the day. But there was still a chance to regain. We'll have a small little break to see if they can do it. For now, we'll also step away, get ready for that map number 3 on El Asilo. Don't go too far. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to College COD LAN Finals, where we are underway with one of our series that is looking pretty primed and ready for what could be a 3-0 in favor of the Dragons. St. Edwards, they have a chance to regain. Had a bit of a break here, Andy, between map 2, map 3. We'll see if they can show up here coming into the El Asilo.
Yeah, a little stand up from the PCs, walk outside, get some fresh air, kind of recollect your thoughts a little bit, because you're going to need a little bit of that plus some more, let me tell you, because the Dragons have been having their way. Here's the best of 5 map set as it currently stands. Close through the first, 2-3 hard points in Hydro, and then the Dragons absolutely had their way. We went dead even until round number 5, and then the Dragons just found a new level. Or should I say, Zuner and Lucho found a completely different, 7th, maybe 8th gear.
Yeah.
They're moving like a Lamborghini out there, let me tell you. And when we get into this LSULO control, again, this is a household favorite for players, specifically like Reality, like as well, all of the Hilltoppers, honestly.
Right.
Specifically for Thresh, just like to be able to post up, lock down some of these longer lines of sights, and just make sure that the Dragons just don't constantly run you down.
That's the big factor right now, because they are running through them. I mean, Zuner goes on a 10 spree in the search and destroy. Before that, we were seeing just streaks come out left and right. It feels like there were 3 players that were just about double positive through that hard point. So there needs to be a response, and well, you want to see it sooner rather than later in this round number 1. We'll see if they can try to get the job done. This is going to be a long series if St. Edwards are going to be able to bring it all the way back. But it starts with control. They haven't necessarily been the best in control looking over their season stats, but we'll see if they can try to pull off a bit of an upset here in map 3, Andy.
It's just not a good place to, unfortunately, find yourself coming up short. You are St. Edwards at the end of the road. You're in CCL finals. But hey, the stocks for the Dragons are concerned, just popping off, just continuing on with their winning ways. Softer region, I don't really care. These guys are looking absolutely nuts. Let's see what things might shake up to be as the Dragons are on offense first.
Let's get it on here. Map number 3 underway. Lucho, man to keep your eye on after some of the snaps we were just getting. He's going to go all the way up to top tower. Aaron's going to throw himself on the point. Try to rely on some of that AR trust from the top. Challenge comes through, and there it is. Kills are looking pretty solid. It might just be a first tick right away.
It's certainly looking like it. I mean, you got Lucho up top. The contest spot down low in between Vanity and Eons, and they're just going to come bowling out from the door. Aaron's laying prone on top of the boxes. And well, those 2 kills do come through. Lickety split. Triple stack on the A control zone. That thing's chalk. The Dragons have only lost 1 life, and Lucho is just piecing them where they previously stood.
Okay, the spawns come through in the back of B. I was going to say, things could get very, very scary very fast. And well, they still could. Aaron gets to the top of Pride Rock. You will not be able to find any more than that 4 spree. Esme is able to follow it up, though. What a snap that is with the help of Zuner, and oh my goodness, they're already on B, from A to B just like that. Eons needs to get something done, and he is also shut down.
Thresh needs to get in some work. Now it's just 1 player. It's just Aaron that's inside of the control zone. Thresh able to stay alive. The drop shot on a Decimate is that much better. And then Reality is able to come through and find the kill on the B control zone. Right before that first segment got locked. That is massive. You're still trailing by a hefty amount of lives if you are the Hilltoppers. Now you can really rely on Eons to create more space with this fight.
Like this play, Eons has a chance to disrupt everything. First kill good, second kill, almost there. Joe able to sneak away, and well, Eons continues to chase. And he will be traded on out. Kills now coming through for the Dragons. Vanity needs to hold on to his life. That first tick coming on through here for B. Almost secured. 1 more sec. It feels like it should be there. Zuner from the inside of storage will not be able to play his life, but it still feels like there was a lot of chaos. There is no setup intact fully just yet for St. Edwards.
I mean, you're constantly having Eons every single respawn just to try to find more value through the middle of the map. He goes 1 for 1 again. And these trades are going to constantly favor the Dragons off of their electric start. Now 18 plays up against 11. Still trades to speak of. First segment locked, second on its way.
Right, here they go. Trying to play retake, trying to work their way in. Vanity finds 2. Aaron from the back. Oh, no! Does get smoked, but Eons is the one that finishes off the kill. And that is a big clearance just when you needed it. It does come in for St. Edwards. 9 lives now on the table, though. That is kind of the bigger problem at hand. Kills will come out from Reality and Thresh to try to stop this next push. And well, things will slow down for a quick moment. Challenges up top, though, come through. And now St. Edwards down to 7 lives.
It's a massive kill to find on Vanity. Vanity was previously on a 4 spree. He was getting all that football control. He finds 1 more kill. He gets inside top house. Now a lot of individualistic gunfights are going to be coming through Zuner. Unfortunately, going to turn at the wrong time versus Eons. Thresh finds a big one on Lucho, stabilizing the map 1 kill at a time.
Thresh isn't going to read on that window push, and that could really hurt them. Eons, he's been in this position so many times. This time he needs to find more than 1. 30 seconds on the clock, has to stay alive. Lucho does not find him. 3 in a row now for Eons. And he is in a position to shut it all down, but there are no lives remaining, and Eons puts together another one. Incredible gunfights after incredible gunfights finally cleared out. 10 seconds on the clock. 3 lives remaining. Vanity's going to try to take his time and come around the back. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Thresh and Reality, and while Thresh is going to drop quite easily, play in the back is also dealt with. It is now all up to Vanity. A 1v6 stacked on the zone currently in play, and well, it is red. The Dragons, they find the first attacking round.
It's via kill, so I mean, it's not exactly what you want to see, but it's still an offensive round win nonetheless. And again, you felt like the setup mostly came through off of what was like a 1-6 start as far as the opening rip is concerned, favoring the Dragons. I mean, they found those 2 kills in quick succession. You already put Aaron over towards the contest box. Lucho was up top, just beaming everything inside. He's having a great time. Look at that smile on Lucho's face. He is having the time of his life. I believe he's coming to this one double positive. There was some life there at the end for the Hilltoppers, but the opening was just too good from University of North America. So now, St. Edwards, as far as an offense is concerned, don't hate the play, but you better hope you win this opening break if you're going for B first.
Yeah. See what they're going to be able to do. Eons, he's been a playmaker quite a few times. Will decide to go down the ladder, back up, clearing a lot of the space, and has a chance maybe to get behind Aaron as well as Zuner here. Interesting timing could take place. Eon's good for the first one. Eyes on the second. Good shots over the top. Eon's doing his job and doing it well, but his teammates unable to stay alive. They cannot follow up. And now everyone really outside of Thresh is kind of working over towards A as they all come off spawn.
First segment's going to get depleted. And St. Edwards off of this positioning with Thresh up top tower means that everybody from the Dragons is going to be spawning parallel over towards B. But look at the map of how far it's open. You got 2 players for the Hilltoppers. They're on the zone, but the pinch is coming through as well. Now this defense is mostly going to rely on what was inside of the zone itself. Thresh up top can only do so much. He'll also get taken down. The St. Edwards, the Hilltoppers coming up dry on every single push so far.
Retake, I mean, it's just so coordinated. It's just so damn clean. And Desmace is going to come behind this play. You have to imagine he's going to get 1, maybe even 2. And they line up. It's just so much control. There's too much to clear, and no one really decides to go through the middle of the map to do it. Desmace will be cleared out. Reality does get there, but I mean, look at the clock. 25 seconds left. You're going to have to pick a zone.
And they're still trying to find where Zuner's located at. I mean, you still got Aaron up top. That's a big kill to find if you are Thresh. They're going to take their focus over towards A. The biggest issue, Lucho's back up top. Double positive, by the way.
Oh, boy. They are on A. They are stopping the clock, but for how long? Here
brother.
we go. Desmace for another double right off of spawn. But it will be a bit of a stack coming on in. Eons and Thresh both on the point. A chance to still get here and try to stop the 3rd tick. Eons stunned up. We'll be able to get some assistance from Thresh from behind. Thresh pieces together 2, and finally a good moment to talk about as the A zone is secured. There's already pressure at B.
And lines aren't too far gone. I mean, this is a great play for Reality off the previous spawn. You found the kill over inside a house. Now you just want to try to lock in this first segment. He's going to go up against Desmace, and he's not going to get a really good look at that gunfight at all. Desmace not traded out quite yet. Thresh will be able to find that trade. Map positioning isn't exactly all here for St. Edwards, so hold on a second. They're fighting a lot of kills to the middle of the map. They're back over by the zone.
Vanity also knows exactly where Zuner is. He's going to hunt him down, track him down, and take him out. Huge kill. The back is now mainly safe outside of Aaron, who does cut through the middle of the map. We'll get some good shots on the Thresh, who has to back away from the point. But he's got assistance with him. Reality will take his place for the second being. Now Thresh follows up with it. Second tick halfway through. The defensive members, stuns, nades, all coming over the top, trying to keep them off the point.
And I think the trucks are cleared. That stun from Thresh didn't connect. You still got to be worried about Lucho. He's over by the trucks. Second segment gets locked in. 12 plays up against 10. What more can Mo do? Not too much at all. 2 more kills come through in succession, and Eons has to hold his life top kitchen.
Feels like Desmace is always in a good place, and he is back in a key position here down low. Vanity not going to get a read on it. Might be looking to try to push through mid. Does turn around and finds the eventual trade. So the back's safe for a moment. Lucho has a chance to follow it up. And they just need 1 more good push. 6 lives on the board for St. Edward to try to match it up. Vanity Child's out. Will be shut down. Lucho now up to 4. Total of 16 and 9. He completely repositions, and 1 by 1, St. Edward's starting to fall, now down to 3 lives.
Reality just needed to find so much more with that flank. And the timing, again, just wasn't there for St. Edwards. It almost feels like this is exactly what we got from the Hydro. I mean, the kills are coming through continuously from the Dragons. You have lurking players for the Hilltoppers in such power positions, like top kitchen window, through the middle of the map. Reality found a flank all the way through party, and then everybody just decided to fly over by the B control zone before Reality can complete the flank. It just feels like the pieces of the puzzle are there. What was supposed to be a beautiful picture of a turtle, it turns up in something I don't even know. It's like a Picasso painting almost. I don't even know what we're looking at anymore. It's just unfortunate to say. The Hilltoppers were able to get 5 segments, but again, it all comes down to the trade game. And it's just that much better for the Dragons that they take a 2-0 lead in the control up on series point.
All right, well, St. Edwards now with what could be their final round need to see if they can try to hold off, at least on the defensive side here in El Asilo. Esme's already able to get very aggressive. Tempo is just completely a level above what we're seeing from St. Edwards. Zuner battling out. Oh, man. Oh, boy, man. These challengers seeing the confidence that's oozing out of these guys. It is showing, and they've already just about locked up the A point.
Zuner's double positive. 19-9 on a 5 spree. Aaron,
boy.
what? The drop shot rips Vanity's head clean off. Someone turn back and get the zone, please. Thank you. 60 seconds will be out on towards the board. Desme's dead silence halfway dissipated, and he's expecting more challenges to come through from the Rock, but his positioning becomes so much more vital. Zuner got another streak, by the way, 20-9. Cruise missile being called in.
Hopefully there's a trophy down in the back. Might be able to protect Thresh, and it will. But Thresh is still not in a great position to really stop this play. And now look at Lucho. He's up to 5, ready to challenge for 6. Almost gets the transfer on for 7. Thresh needs to get some good work done, and well, Desmace is there. The stack is now in. St. Edwards got nowhere to go. The Hilltoppers will fall. The Dragons will rise as they get the 3-0 victory.
Business. Look at it. Strictly business. Fist bumps coming through. You got a couple wisecracking smiles. I mean, look at Zuner. He just had himself a great series. But, I mean, for me, like, how many times are we going to cast any one of those 3 maps and we're looking at Desmaze in, like, the most ridiculous positioning, and he's just finding himself all these different timings to go on these flanks, to always get behind enemy lines, and by the time you're just like, okay, we found Desmaze, then you got to worry about Lucho, who's on that crossfire with Zuner, who is just going on spree after spree after spree. Did he even reach double-digit deaths? I don't think he reached double-digit deaths. It's, again, it goes that much further than the pace. It was so different. Almost a mismatch as far as the pace is concerned between these 2 rosters, but the fundamentals, let me tell you, from the Dragons, is at an all-time high. These guys are looking crispy clean as far as teamwork is concerned.
Looking pretty scary out there. Holy, man. St. Edwards just never able to get it going. We saw glimpses of small moments from individuals throughout all 3 maps, but again, never all at once. Tough scenes here for them as they're going to have to hit the big regain, but it's now looking pretty tough. Go through some of their next matchups. The Dragons, on the other hand, though, I mean, you said it, Andy, they're playing at an extremely fast pace right now. They're looking very comfortable. You can see the trust here as well. It is paying off quite nicely as they found 3 very convincing wins.
I mean, let's look at it at the greater scheme of things, right? It's a 4-team group that now, if you are St. Edwards, you already lost to Fisher. That was going to be a tough one. Lost to University of North America, so now you better hope that you're going to have to go up against Davenport and win. Your only hope now is to be 3rd and start the lower bracket. That's all you've got. And the turnover, again, is not exactly a long one. Throughout all these replays of the LSU look control, if they honestly can go and sit down with Coach Ralph and sit there and try to truly understand what went wrong, it's only going to be able to help them out that much more. There's not going to be a whole lot of turnover for VOD, but man, I mean, outside of a couple different pushes that we saw from like Eons trying to pinch things up with Thresh, it just felt like that St. Edwards kind of fell themselves into the blunder of being a little bit too individualistic, and they got cut down because of it.
Certainly did. That transfer, I thought for a second was about to happen. Lucho in the back. But, man, this team, so damn good at the moment. Very casual reaction. Feels like it's expected for them as they get out of their seats. Go and dab up St. Edwards. 3-0 victory. 20-10 for Zuner. I mean, this guy putting up numbers. 18 of those non-traded kills.
How about that? I mean, Zuner, like, and again, it's something that just transcended away from even the hard point, too. Like, the guy was just, I don't want to say untouchable, but, I mean, he's only 2 kills non-traded, so I would say pretty damn untradeable. It, like, even has the 2,300 damage to boot as well. And look at Lucho. Lucho led the lobby for damage, 11 assists, 23 and 11, 3,000 damage? Like, what is this guy doing? He's just in the best position possible. Attack 56 in hand, headshot multiplier goes burr, and he's just setting up his teammates for success every single time.
Got a K of damage per round. Would have been fun to see what he got up to if that one went a little bit longer.
Yeah, for real.
A lot of offensive kills coming through there for him, too. I think 16. And Lucho making it look easy right now, man. He's had a lot of snappy plays, a lot of highlights, I think, to look back over in these last 3 maps. Just for him individually, it felt like he was able to make a little mini montage for himself here in his first series on stream. So very nicely done. Take a look at Lucho himself, and it feels like, again, he was just completely on point. This sniper kill, this snap right here, Andy, what was that?
I mean, Eon's again, like, he did everything that he possibly could. I thought he did everything right. I thought Lucho was dead to rights. I've been into the position on both sides with the sniper in hand and the SMG trying to chow the sniper, but I mean, what do you reckon? Like, Lucho has to play like closer to like 8-8 sensitivity with that drag. That he got that close, man. That is just absolutely absurd. And again, you know, it's very easy, I would say this much, when you go back and you overwatch this series and you're just like, oh yeah, Zuder definitely had the better series. But I would sit there and absolutely argue that Lucho was the player to continuously watch out for. Great capture by our observing and replay ops, of course, to end up breaking all of those different highlights so that we could talk about Lucho, because it always felt like if it's Desmaze on the flank and it's Zuder popping off on the screens, it was always Lucho that was in the right place at the right time, just absolutely beaming everybody just for Desmaze to come on the flank and just sneeze on them.
Well, there you have it. 2 pretty quick series happening here for us. We'll take a quick look at the groups and see how they are shaking up. Northwood now are 2-0 up, I would say as expected. St. Clair able to grab themselves 1, but I believe still playing that matchup right now versus Oklahoma Christian. So that result still pending for us. And the other side, the Dragons, they're now up to 2-0, and they have a big matchup versus Fisher Esports to see if they can maybe rival that first seed somehow.
I'm actually super stoked to see the outcome of the Dragons versus Fisher. I think that matchup is honestly going to be an absolute banger. Fisher, they lost a round 11 search and destroy to Davenport on LSCLO search and destroy. They were able to take that in a 3-1 series count, taking the control 3-0. Yep, and St. Clair again, you know, they're still waiting, or we're waiting rather, for that Expo control conclusion. As that series is all tied up 1 apiece going into what is going to be a potential 3 and 4. So a lot of upsets, I will say that much, Austin. I did not exactly have St. Edwards necessarily losing the way that they did on my bingo card here for CCL Finals. Very interesting stuff still to unfold. The groups are all shaking out. Again, you don't want to be 4th. You don't want to find yourself 0-2 down. Unfortunate to say, some of our teams are already there.
Some of them are already there, and now, well, their fate determined in what could be that last matchup just to try to clinch that 3rd seed to start in the lower bracket for the end of the day, as well as going tomorrow for Championship Sunday. Still a lot of group matches, though, to come. We'll throw things to a break when we come back. We got more Call of Duty coming your way.